Hi, everyone. This is Cami from the School of Engineering at USC. Thanks to all of you for joining us today. I'm going to go ahead and get started with our session for data science students. And first, before I start, I'm just going to introduce my colleagues. So we do have members of the engineering school's admissions staff, as well as the computer science department advisors, and some of our fabulous students on this session today as well. So thanks to all of you for joining. And first, congratulations on your admission. So I'm really excited every year to be able to welcome new students from all around the country and around the world. I represent the Graduate Admissions Office, and so in my role, I do have the very nice opportunity to be able to meet students globally who are interested in pursuing their degree at USC. And every year, it never gets old for me because I get so excited by hearing from so many students like yourselves in their interest to come and advance their engineering studies. So without further ado, let me go ahead and get started here. I just have a few short slides, just some important information for you as you make your decision, and I hope you do enroll at USC. I know that you're probably weighing all of your options and kind of trying to pull together all the factors to make your decision. So I'll go over a few things with you that we wanted to make sure to communicate, and then I'm going to turn it over to my very good colleague Art to kind of talk a little bit more about the data science program. Okay. Okay, so give me 1 minute here. Okay, so of course, the question on everybody's minds is, what's going to happen? Are we going to be on campus, or is the mode of delivery going to be online? So as you have all probably experienced, the pandemic has kind of posed many challenges in terms of making the situation pretty unpredictable. So the story last week is probably not the same as it is today. But as of now, the spring 2021 semester is currently online. The university is getting ready to safely reintroduce in-person activities. So just recently, the university has put up canopies, so kind of covered areas outside in our open spaces, so that students can kind of safely get together should they need to get together for projects and things like that. The Career Services Office has also been using it to kind of do advisement for students. So we can see that the university, following the state and local guidelines, have been kind of moving towards safely reopening the campus, which is a good sign. Okay, campus buildings and classrooms and the common areas have been retrofitted in preparation for the eventual return of our students. So as you can imagine, and I'm sure many of you have experienced that, without kind of having protocols in place or having our buildings or safety procedures put in place to accommodate students due to the pandemic, there's quite a lot of work involved in doing that. So the university's been working really hard on doing that. The staff continue to work remotely. So I, as well as my colleagues, are all working remotely right now. And you have to forgive me because I have a very large dog that I hope does not bark during this short session that I'm giving right now. Following CDC and county distribution guidelines, USC has begun administering the COVID vaccine. So all of these things are good news. We're really kind of optimistic. As long as we can kind of keep the cases down here and things move in the right direction, we're confident that we're going to be able to safely reopen in the near future. Okay, so given the deadline in the cases and the vaccine rollout, we're planning for a return to campus for the fall semester, and that's kind of the latest news from the provost's office. So what we can guarantee you, as things continue to change due to COVID, we will share with you always the most updated information we have available. We'll continue to monitor the situation each day. During this past year, we've had a lot of lessons learned. We were very flexible with students due to COVID, and we adjusted many things in order to accommodate our students. So we'll work with you to the extent of our ability to help you enroll at USC while still adhering to government directives. Okay, so for those of you who are international students, if you have not yet done so, we highly encourage you to submit your financial documents and your passport copy by April 15th. if you haven't already done so. And please be aware that currently the USC Graduate Admissions Office, which is the Central University office, is taking about 14 days to process documents. So if you have been informed that you are academically eligible for admission and you need to submit those, I highly encourage you to submit those as soon as you possibly can, because I understand that many of you might start wanting to schedule an appointment to obtain your visa. So that will delay things if you, the longer you wait to submit those financial documents. Okay, and for everyone, whether you're international student or a US citizen, you will want to submit your statement of intent. If you decide to enroll with us, you'll need to pay the $500 commitment deposit, which will get deducted from your first semester's tuition by May 1st, 2021. Okay, so just keep that in mind. If any of you that are joining today are within the US and are pursuing the degree by our online program, you can definitely contact the team if you need a little bit more time with your commitment deposit and your May 1st deadline. Okay, so they've been able to kind of accommodate students there. Okay, so if you are considering USC seriously and once you decide that you want to enroll at USC, we do encourage you to submit that statement of intent as soon as you can. And so the sooner you do that, the sooner you can start accessing pre-orientation resources, the mentorship program. The academic departments will start reaching out to students in terms of course selection and scheduling. So do that as soon as you have a firm idea of what you're going to do. Okay, so my colleagues such as Art and Steve, who represent the computer science department, their department starts to kind of contact students as soon as they obtain your acceptance that you're going to accept your admission. They start kind of trying to help you plan for the fall as soon as possible. Okay, so I'm going to, this is a beautiful image of our campus. So I, for one, am very much looking forward to getting back to campus and seeing everybody. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to end this right here, and I will turn it over to my colleagues, Art and Steve. And yeah, go ahead and take it away.
All right, thanks, Cami. All right, give me a second here to share.
Oh, Art, can you unmute, please? Thanks.
Oh, sorry. Is it working?
Yeah, I can hear.
Gotcha.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, sometimes my audio gets weird on this. All right, hold on a second. All right. So my name is Art Perez, and I am one of the advisors in the computer science department. So while the data science program is its own program, it is administered by the computer science department. So the department chair is Cyrus Shahabi, and the director of the data science program is Professor Yolanda Gill. Now the programs under data science, I think we have students from almost all of these here, but we have the MS in applied data science, the MS in cybersecurity engineering, the MS in communication data science, environmental data science, and healthcare data science. Now these last two, they are administered by other schools, but they still are our programs as well. So we have the public policy data science program that is administered by the Price School. And then we have the MS in spatial data science, which is under the Dornsife School. All right, and then for the program structure, for those of you who are in the MS in applied data science, you have 3 required courses that you will need to take. So those are Foundations of Data Management, Machine Learning for Data Science, and Foundations and Applications of Data Mining. And then you do have elective courses, which those are 5 courses or 20 units. For those of you in cybersecurity engineering, you have security systems, foundations and policy for information security, computer systems assurance, and security and privacy in informatics. And then you have 3 courses or 12 units of electives. Now, for those of you, especially in applied data science, for those of you who may not have really any CS background, like maybe this is the first time you're taking any like really data science or CS classes, we do have some intro courses that kind of help get you up to speed with those 3 required courses that I mentioned. So we do have like an introductory to like data science, computer science course. We have 510, which is our programming course, which will teach you how to program in Python. And then we have 550, which is basically an overview of the 3 required courses that you'll be taking. Now, for those of you who need to take these 3 courses, they will be counted as electives towards your degree. So they're not like in addition to your 32 units, they will be part of the 32 units. It is possible to waive some of these courses for those of you who have extensive background in computer science or data science. Now, it is important to note that this program focuses more on preparing students for the industry rather than research. So directed research and thesis aren't really available for degree credit. However, you still are able to participate in research. A lot of our students will do volunteer research with some of our research institutes like the Information Science Institute and the Institute for Creative Technology. All right, and then so we have our interdisciplinary programs, which I mentioned earlier, like communication data science, which is part of, we have a partnership with Annenberg. We have healthcare data science. So basically the structure for that is for all of those programs, you are required to take those intro courses, which I mentioned earlier. Again, though, if you already are coming in with a lot of background, it is possible to waive these courses and replace them with our more advanced courses. You also have an elective from data science that you can choose from. And then based on which program you're in, you will have courses, for example, from communication data science, you will have required courses from Annenberg. For the spatial data science, you will have required courses from the spatial science program. And then our healthcare program, you will have courses with the biomedical program. And then you also have the option to take some courses with Keck as well. So some of the common questions we get: how long does it typically take to complete the program? If you are coming in full time with us, it'll take basically 2 years or 4 semesters. And if you're a part-time DEN student, it'll take anywhere from 2.5 to 3.5 years. Let's see, how many classes are grad students recommended to take each semester? So if you are a full-time student, you'll be taking 2 classes or 8 units per semester. Now this is considered, 8 units is considered full-time for a graduate student. I know, especially those of you coming right out of undergrad, you're probably used to taking like 15, 18 units a semester, but 8 units, I'm sure most of our students who are here on the panel will say that 8 units is pretty much a full load. And then for those of you who are DEN students, those are our online students who are working full-time, it's recommended that you should only be taking 1 course per semester. And then for our applied data science program, you do have the opportunity to take up to 2 CSCI courses towards your elective units. Let's see. So these other questions I'll kind of leave out because I know we have a panel available and we have a lot of, I'm sure you guys will have a lot of questions for our current students who are here on the panel. So I will end my slideshow here. But let's see. I think at this point, Cami, we'd want to move on to our student panel, correct?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So we do have a few current students who are actually here with us today. Let's see, we have Mark, Luke, and Lisa, who are all part of our program. I'll let them go ahead and introduce themselves. If you guys want to skip your name, what program you're in and where you're from, and introduce yourselves to the students, that would be great.
I can go first. So, hey, I'm Mark. I'm in the Applied Data Science program. It's my last semester, and I'm from Blacksburg, Virginia.
I can go next. Hi everyone, my name is Lisa. I am also in my last semester in the healthcare data science program. I'm actually from LA, so still home for me, and nice to meet you all.
Hi, everybody. I'm Luke. I'm from Fort Collins, Colorado, and I'm in the MS of Applied Data Science program.
Thank you, guys. All right. So at this point, myself and then Mark, Luke, and Lisa, we're all here to answer your questions. So I can kind of answer anything in regards to like curriculum, requirements of the program, and then our current students can give their perspective on their coursework, you know, what they hope to do after graduation, things like that. So if you guys maybe want to, for the students, the admitted students who are here, if you'd like to go ahead and type in your questions to the chat, you can go ahead and do that. And then if not, if you're not have any questions yet, that's fine. I have some questions to ask the students as well. So actually, I will start off with one of those questions. So let's see, and let's see which one of you guys wants to take this question. So I think all of you guys are graduating this semester, right? But what are you guys hoping to do with this degree once you graduate?
I can go. So hey, yeah. So what I'm hoping to do when I graduate, so my background is I actually worked for 3 years doing systems integration at a electronic health records company, and I kind of like took the step to data science with this program, but I'm kind of more so interested in like the data engineering and kind of all of the upstream tasks that are required before you actually do any kind of prediction or models. So I'm kind of like on the hunt right now and actively interviewing for data engineering jobs. And, you know, as a long-term goal, I'm actually hoping more to become a software engineer, but kind of using data science as like the stepping stone for that. So it's been fun. It's something you can definitely do. I think when I went into data science, I was worried you just focus on data science problems, but it's actually much more than that. You're actually coding these programs and apps along the way, and it's really fun. So I would recommend it.
And I can go next. So I've always had a passion for healthcare, and so that would be my ultimate goal down the line. But actually, through this program, I've kind of learned I had a strong interest for AI and machine learning, and so actually after this program, I've been offered a full-time position at Northrop Grumman, hopefully working with their AI and machine learning team.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll be graduating after the summer semester. And prior to pursuing this degree, I was in the finance industry for a few years. And that's where I realized that, like, oh, like coding is awesome and data science is really cool. And I think after the program, I'm hoping to pursue a job in a different industry, like maybe in the outdoor space, like working for a company like GoPro or REI or Patagonia or something like that.
That's awesome. Those are all great plans, guys. Thank you for sharing. So it looks like we did get some questions for you guys from some of the admitted students here. So first one here is, what has been your favorite class in the program so far?
I don't know, maybe we keep the same order of people.
Yeah.
I guess the two classes, like one of my favorite classes was the data mining class we took. And that one was focused on like within like what Luke is in that class right now. It's like taking really big data and mining like similar users or similar items to create recommender systems. So that's something that gets asked about all the time in data science kind of interviews and job descriptions. And that class kind of like builds the fundamentals for like how you would scan through really big data to find these similar things and create something really cool out of it. So yeah, and then I'm taking a web technologies class right now, which is like actually teaching me JavaScript and like some of the JavaScript script frameworks and cloud platforms, and that's the other class I like.
So I actually completely agree. I took that class and I believe it's 553. And I think it's great in teaching tools that you can directly apply to the industry. Along with that, like I said earlier, I also liked 552, which is the machine learning course. And I think the professors did a great job doing a widespread teaching all the algorithms, like teaching how to code from scratch and using the libraries. So all those are really, I think classes were my favorite because they taught you such useful skills for the industry.
Yeah, going off of what Mark said, I'm currently taking the 553 data mining course, and I didn't know what data mining was before coming to this program, but it's an awesome course. When you're watching Netflix and you think of how they recommend the next movie that you're going to see, they're using the algorithms and the methods that we're taught in like this class to do that and to recommend things for you. And Amazon uses that as well. But it's really cool to learn the algorithms and the theory behind these approaches, and then having to implement that into code. It's like solving a big problem. And I really enjoy that aspect of the class.
Great, thank you guys for sharing. The next one here, I think is one for me to answer, but you guys can feel free to jump into. It says, Milan asks, if there are 4 semesters for the program, is there an internship in the middle? So there isn't a requirement to do an internship. However, I think most of the students here would strongly agree that you should probably get involved with, if not an internship, then maybe doing some type of volunteer research with like a faculty member or one of our research institutes. Now, we do have the Viterbi Career Services Office that can help you if you need any help with that. We also, with the computer science department, we get a lot of companies approaching us all the time to put ads out for internships and full-time opportunities. So we will send those positions out for you guys as well. And then I know a lot of our professors who teach in the program actually work at the Information Science Institute. So a lot of times they might have positions available, or they may have colleagues or know somebody else who is available on hiring somebody for an internship or research position as well. Ooh, let's see. Okay, here is a good one for you guys. It looks like Hongping asks, how do you feel about your workload if you're only taking 8 units per semester?
Yeah, so I can kind of touch on this. So it's like Art said before, it's a little bit different in grad school. Like 8 credits, it's almost like 20 hours a week for each class. So it's like you add them together and it's like kind of like 40 hours a week. I was kind of skeptical of that at first, like, but the first semester, I think the class, like Art said, if you don't have like a very dense like CS background, the first semester might be like a little bit less of a load. And so in that like extra time, you can like pick up like a part-time job at like the ISI, which is something that I've done before, or like you can go for like a cloud certification like on your own time or something like that. But then past the first semester, I feel like it definitely is like 40 hours a week. It's like pretty intense. So.
I actually completely agree with that. At least for me, coming from a non-coding or science background, the first semester was kind of killer because I was kind of like thrown into the deep end of the pool. So it was a huge learning curve and catching up to everyone else in the class. But in terms of once you kind of catch, your pace and everything and, get your study method down, there are a lot of opportunities to have like part-time student jobs. That's what I did for my second semester, where actually part of the first semester as well, I was able to work in a Keck research lab and also was a course grader. So there's a lot of opportunities in terms of making sure to balance your time well.
Yeah, I definitely agree with all of that. Between the 2 courses that I'm taking, I'd say I'm in lecture for about 8 hours a week, and then probably putting in at least 40 hours, studying to take quizzes and then working on assignments. Lectures can be pretty theoretical, and then the assignments really have you apply everything that you learn into the actual code.
Awesome, thank you guys. And then this one's from me. They're asking, how large is the applied data science program? So that program has been actually growing like faster and faster every year. I think right now we probably have close to, I want to say about 300 students in the applied data science program. So it is growing larger. And with that, at the time we only had 2 advisors, which was Steve and myself, and we are now actually adding the rest of the advisement team. So now all the CS advisors will be available to assist you, since that program has been growing pretty rapidly. Let's see here. Oh, this might be a good one for you guys. I have read the MS Applied Data Science program is more geared towards people with less of a technical background as compared to the computer science data science program. Would you say this program would be rigorous for someone with who already has CS background?
Yeah, yes. Because like if they said before, you can skip those like if you're a CS and you're like trying to get into data science, like this is a great stepping stone too. Like you can definitely like step over some of the intro classes if you've like worked with Java or Python before and like immediately step into like those 3 core classes. And then that will at the end of your program free you up for like a little bit more like elective kind of things. So yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I completely agree. And like what Art said, there are CS electives you can take. And even with the core classes or the data science courses, the students from the CS departments still take these courses as well. They're in the class with you.
Yeah, I'd agree with all of that.
All right. Let's see. The question for you guys, is there an interesting project you've worked on your own time or within the program?
Yeah, I'll be quick. Yeah, so there's this class I took last semester called Knowledge Graphs. It's with people at the ISI, and it's about like kind of pulling data from lots of different sources and like scraping it or gathering it and linking it together in some way to create some kind of like app. So I like focused on drugs and drug prices, like WebMD, like did scraping and Wikipedia and like GoodRx and like combine it all together and make a front end for it that like lets users search it and then like deploy it to the cloud. And I thought that was really fun. And like there's all kinds of cool things you can do with graphs that I didn't even touch, but it was like a great starter project. And it's like a cool thing I talk about in interviews now, which is fun.
Yeah, so I do want to preface that the CS courses, or actually the courses in this program are all great in the sense that you are going to be working on a lot of projects. It's mainly project based, and personally for me, my favorite came from my internship. So throughout my first year, I was in an internship with LA Healthcare, and we were doing kind of like a tight collaboration with See Kids and Grids, which is a campus club for data science where you get to kind of play around with real life big data and kind of try to find solutions. And so my project was what we did was we collected COVID data and Twitter data. So I was able to build a real-time tracking COVID map of the whole world and tie in Twitter data so you could see what people are talking about and seeing trends.
I knew very little about how to code when I came into this program, and what was awesome about the 510 course, which is programming for data science, was that by the end of the course, I had created a project by myself where I utilized web scraping, I accessed APIs, and I used Python to create an application. And what it is it allows users to enter the name of a national park that they want to visit, and then it will return real-time information on the park, and on a map it will show you the park relative to I'm a big rock climber, so it will show you where the park is relative to like the top rated climbing routes in that same area, and we'll provide you information with that. But really cool to see the topics that are covered in course like coming together and actually being useful.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. All right. Have any of the three of you, have any of you guys taken DSCI 560, which is the practicum course? No.
I've not.
Unfortunately, no.
Yeah. Okay. So I can, I can kind of talk about that a little bit though. That course is, as I mentioned, the professional practicum. So usually the faculty member in charge of that course, she will reach out to an actual company who will be the client for the class, and that client will present the class with an issue and say, here's the issue. I want you guys to come up with a solution for this. And they'll pair everybody up into the class into groups of like about 4 or 5 students. And each group will come up with their own solution to that issue the client presented them with. And then after it, all the groups will present it to the client, and the client can say, hey, I like yours best, we're going to implement it. But either way, it's something good, another good project you can put on your resume, because like I said, you are working with the real client, so you can put that on your resume later on. Let's see here. Oh, and I kind of answered that one somebody asked about the real clients through class projects. And yes, that is DSDI 560, our professional practicum. Let's see here. Let's see. Oh, maybe you guys can answer this one. What opportunities are there to be exposed to numerous coding languages? I'm guessing like outside of maybe Python.
Yeah, definitely. So that data mining course, you'll learn like Hadoop, MapReduce, and then like on top of that, like Spark, which is like the parallel processing. So that's like one big thing that gets asked for if you're interested in like data engineering, like with really big data. And then in this like web tech class that I'm talking about, that I'm taking, like I'm learning JavaScript and some of the JavaScript like platforms like we're using like Node.js and like Angular for the back end and like Angular for the front end. Yeah, so like, but Python primarily is like the foundational like coding that we focus on in this program. I think like in the CS, master's CS programs, I think they look at Java more. But yeah, Python definitely is like the bread and butter.
I agree with that. Python's really huge in these courses, but you are a lot other opportunities to branch out and try other languages. So an example is in the 510 class, you are taught SQL, and in like the data science class, you are allowed to use R for your projects and your assignments. At least for my professor, they allowed it, and a lot of I guess the BME courses that Art was talking about with the healthcare data science, a lot of them also use MATLAB.
I recently took the elective data visualization. I believe that's 544 or 554. And in that class, we learned how to code in JavaScript and used that and D3 to create interactive visualizations.
All right. The next one here is from Mateen. What made you guys select USC's program specifically?
Yeah, so this can vary from person to person. Everyone kind of has their different motivations, but I think for everyone, USC is like a US News like top 15 like engineering grad school, like on par with like many other like really awesome schools. So like just the recognition I think that the world like looks at USC with is like, I think that's valuable to me. The second thing that was valuable to me is this is completely personal, but I was living in LA before I started going to USC, and I didn't really want to move. So I just kind of was like, these are the kind of the two things that I was looking for. Yeah, it's been great. I've learned so much. It's been crazy.
So my position is a bit different because my background is actually in neurobiology and chemistry. So I was actually pre-med prior to this, and I was actually on my way to med school, like taking the MCAT and everything. Unfortunately, I realized it wasn't the route for me. So, but my goal, like I said previously, has always been healthcare. So during the time when I was looking for an interdisciplinary field like this, it was actually really rare to come upon one that focused so much on health. I think there was only two or three by the time around the time I was applying, and kind of like what Mark said, just based off the recognition of USC, it helped nudge choosing this program.
Yeah, for me, USC's large alumni network was one thing that drew me. And then also just looking at the curriculum in this program, all of the courses were things that I wanted to learn. The data mining, the machine learning, and natural language processing, which is an elective. And then for me, I wanted to move to California. So this was something that drew me here.
All right, let's see. The next one is, if the classes are project-based, are the faculty and TAs easily accessible if problems occur?
Yes, they are. So yeah, of course, like there's a lot of work that you've got to do yourself to just kind of like figure out what's going on and be resourceful. But yeah, if you ever get stuck, you absolutely can work with the TA. There's like good platforms, like we have like Piazza and Blackboard that like really help to facilitate dialogue and like timeliness of like help getting a response. And other methods besides the TA and these like message boards, like you should definitely, even though it's COVID, I guess like you guys in the fall maybe will be going back, but try your best to like reach out to people, and like not only from a networking perspective, but from a like let's survive this class together perspective, like, and you know, study with each other and like, you know, trade notes with each other. So, you know, you can definitely do that. Every student that I've like talked to has been like super friendly and like open to like collaborate. And yeah, it's been a good, you know, vibe with the students themselves.
I 100% agree. And that's one thing I always praise about the USC courses and the professors. Professors are amazing, easily approachable, and especially during these COVID times, they're very understanding. So they do have set office hours. You can always schedule for a more one-on-one one if you prefer, especially because you're in different time zone and whatnot. And they're all super friendly. They feel free, you know, even though the classes are online, they're definitely open to still asking questions in class. And like what Mark said, USC was great in converting to everything online. They have set up like Slack boards where, yeah, you could discuss with your classmates. That's actually highly encouraged, especially because a lot of these assignments or final projects are teamwork based, because they do want to mirror kind of the work environment in the industry. So it's highly encouraged to talk to your classmates as well. So everyone's really responsive and really helpful.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. The platforms that we use to ask questions to the professors and TAs also allow the students to interact, and you'll have students who have figured something out responding to questions as well. So it's very interactive, very responsive.
All right, and then for the MS in Cybersecurity Engineering program, how are the 28 units divided among the 4 semesters? So for those of you who are doing the cybersecurity engineering like in person and not via Den, you'll be taking, that means like taking 2 classes per semester. So you'll still be doing the 4 semesters, but during your 4th semester, you'll typically just have 1 class, which kind of gives you the opportunity to either look for full-time employment, because that can take up a lot of time. You could allow you to do like a full-time internship, could allow you to take on maybe a big research project. So that's kind of nice that you only have that 1 class that final semester. The cybersecurity engineering, the way that program is set up, the courses for that are a little bit limited. So that's why it's kind of hard to take like 3 courses in 1 semester, just because of the way that those courses are scheduled. But like I said, it is nice to have that easy last semester, because I'm sure as our current students here will tell you, like even seeking out a full-time job takes a lot of time, you know, doing interviews, researching things like that. So it'll be nice to have that extra time. Let's see. Okay, here's one from Oscar. How helpful were the data science intro courses if you have intermediate CS background, such as a minor in computer science? So I think that just depends, you know, maybe how much you've been using CS, like since you've graduated. If you're really familiar with it, been using it a lot, you know, it might be helpful for you to waive out of the courses. What I recommend to students is you're always welcome to look up past syllabi. I think even if you do a Google search for, like, to example, DSCI 549, you can kind of see past syllabi that, and what was covered in the class. So that way you can get a good judgment of like, is it worth me taking this class, or am I better off waiving out of it? I do find that of the 3 intro classes, even if you've had some experience, a lot of our students find 510 to be the most helpful, because that's our programming and Python course. A lot of students really like to reinforce their Python programming. And depending on the type of job you want, it's really important that you have strong programming skills, because they might, for example, give you a test in the programming, things like that. So a lot of students like to really just make sure they have strong programming skills. And then, like, if you want to opt out of them, we do give you guys the option to do that. Like right before you start classes, we'll have you guys submit like your transcript and syllabi, and then we'll review them to see what you are eligible to waive out of them. And then from there, you guys can, again, like I said, you can either opt in to taking those intro courses or opt out and take some of those advanced courses.
I kind of want to add to that, if that's
Go
okay,
ahead.
because as an
Yeah.
ambassador, I get a lot of questions in terms of like statistics and math. So even with a CS minor, if you're kind of afraid of, or you haven't taken stats or unfamiliar, I think 549, even though it's an intro class, is really helpful because it does touch upon statistics that is very useful in terms of setting up, your hypothesis or project. And if you're interested in research, because it teaches you how to set up your study as well. So if that's what you're interested in and want to kind of pick up the basics of stats, that would be a good class too.
I want to add one final thing too. I think if you're like coming from a Java background and you're going to learn Python, I think there's a lot of overlap with like Java and Python. I think even Python, the syntax is like even like more trimmed down than Java, and all the same kind of concepts exist. So I think like, you should just like make a pros and cons of like your decision, whether you like take this class or you try to learn Python on the fly in one of the harder classes. So yeah, just like make a pro and con list and like weigh it out. There's definitely like benefits and like cons of either approach. So.
All right. Let's see here. And maybe you guys who have, for those current students in the panel, because somebody's asking here, did the like USC, Viterbi offer any resources to assist in finding internships or research projects? For those of you guys who have had internships or research projects, do you want to maybe talk about how you were able to find the ones you did?
Yeah, I did two separate projects with the ISI. One, I think I just like applied to it. Like you get emails like every single day with like new like openings in labs or like different projects you can join. So like the opportunities are definitely there. You just kind of have to be like on it to like apply the day of, or like apply very soon after it's posted, because sometimes it can be competitive. And so that's how I got the first one. And then the second project I got at the ISI, it was like something I did after the knowledge graphs class. The professor just said like, hey, do you want to join this team? Like you did well in the class. So yeah, there's like lots of different like ways you can get involved.
So to add to that, I would highly, highly suggest utilize DOC Career Services. And that's kind of the majority of how I got my positions. The first one was kind of a work study fair, and the research lab I got into was looking at, like through that fair. Otherwise, there's also two main career fairs that USC sets up. The first one is mainly for Viterbi, engineering students. So a lot of the big tech companies come to that one, like Amazon, Intel, Oracle, Facebook, Google, go to that one. And there's also a second, which is more general, which is for the entire school. If you're more focused on business, defense, finance, stuff like that. And still big companies like from Chase or um, Goldman Sachs, like Northrop, go to that one. So I recommend highly utilizing the career fairs. And kind of like what Mark said, the career services also has an online platform where there's a lot of posts. So definitely go look through there. And there's so many postings that are always being updated and put on there. And that's I think generally how most students get their internships and like part-time positions.
Yeah, and to add on that, I don't know if it's a new thing, but there's something called Viterbi Link, which is a networking platform for Viterbi students and then alumni. And so that's a pretty cool way to find people geographically or in a certain industry that you're interested in, who are, have signed up for this and they're willing to speak with students and alumni to try to get you connected. So I think that's another cool option.
All right. The next question we have is from Matthew, and they're asking, is this program recommended for people with the CS background who already have experience in data science? Does it go deeper than some undergrad programs that offer data science specializations? So I think you guys can add to this as well. So I think it just kind of depends what you want to get out of the program, because I know we get this question a lot, like, should I do CS data science or applied data science? I think with applied data science, it's really focused more on students being out to go into the industry and really add their skills to kind of any field, whether it be education, healthcare. Even if you're not in one of the interdisciplinary programs, you can still go out and work in any one of those fields that you want to. I think with CS, still flexible degree, but I think it tends to focus a little bit more on like the theoretical aspects of data science and research rather than the applied data science program does. But you guys maybe can add a little bit more to that if you have anything.
I would agree. However, I think in applied data science, it depends on what you're interested in. Now, it's almost like there's different like groups of data science. There's like computer vision, which is like images, and then there's like natural language processing, which is like text, and then there's like just classification kind of stuff. So like within each of these buckets, like there are different classes that are let you dive deeper. Some of them are in the CS department, but you can still take them as like applied data science. Like for example, like Luke and I last semester, we took a natural language processing class, which is like definitely goes like deep into natural language processing. But yeah, you can, I think if you stick with this, you can specialize depending on, how many slots you have. Like if you don't take some of those intro slots, it frees up some later on for you to take some of these like more of these like more specialized courses.
And to add to that, I would suggest like highly looking through the electives, because those are a lot more specialized, and look through the syllabus because it's a grad class. It's more, I want to say, project or practical based. So you actually learn these skills rather than, I believe undergrad is more conceptual. So I would definitely just look through the electives that are offered, like what you're interested in, and look through the syllabus.
I've had a number of the courses in the data science program where there were students from the CS program who had a CS undergrad major who were in the course with me, and they didn't seem to think that it was easier or something that they hadn't covered before. So I think it's very common for students in the CS program to actually come over to the data science program to take some of those courses because they're so interesting.
That's actually really true. When like I said, for the assignments that are project based, I've worked with a lot of students that were from the CS department.
Nice. All right. And then, so kind of going off what you guys mentioned about just taking classes with each other, do you feel like people from your program are tight knit, even with there being like 300 people in the program?
So yeah, I mean, like you're not going to realistically meet like everybody in the program. I think you just kind of like form a squad like at the start. I think that's kind of like what I did. And then over time, you just kind of like add to that, and then like organically. I think if you just try to reach out and you at least make an effort to like meet people and like say hi, you can find people because everyone's pretty friendly. I think even for for international students too. I think there are groups there that allow international students to like link up as well. So yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, I do want to add to that because I want to say that the CS students, I mean, not CS, just all USC students are very, very friendly. And so it's weird to admit because coming from a pre-med background, everyone's so competitive. So coming here, I'll admit I was really scared to ask for help or like, because it was really intimidating. And I was like, oh, I don't want someone to sabotage me because people actually do that in the pre-med world. It's crazy. But yeah, just even during this time with all the classes being online, even via Slack, you could just message a random student, be like, oh, I don't get this problem. Can you help? They will help. And so that's why I agree with Mark, where if you just make that effort to connect with someone, it's really easy because everyone's really friendly and we're all kind of struggling the same. So we're really here to just help each other out and get through this.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's really nice to problem solve with other students, and it seems like everybody's interested in meeting other people and working through problems together. So it's been great.
Yeah, like Luke and I met last semester, and we haven't even seen each other in person yet. But
never met in person.
But like I feel like we're like best buds, like because we work with like together every week, like kind of like talking through some of the NLP problems we were facing together. And Lisa and I actually met in person too before this, but I don't know.
Yeah, we met like first semester round before the whole COVID thing. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and then looks like one more question here. Is it possible to change programs later, like switching from communication data science to applied data science? So yeah, Yes and no. So if we've kind of changed things a little bit since Mark, Luke, and Lisa have joined the program, but for those of you who are in like one of our interdisciplinary programs and want to switch to applied data science program, you can. However, there is an internal application that you guys would need to submit towards the end of your first semester. Just keep in mind that it's not guaranteed that you can switch to applied data science. So just keep that in mind when you're joining one of the interdisciplinary programs. It's not a guarantee. Now, for those of you who may be in applied data science and want to maybe switch to like computer science, again, kind of the same thing. It's not 100% guaranteed that you can transfer over to computer science, but it potentially could be a possibility.
And Art, just to clarify that, they would need to finish one semester first before submitting that application, correct?
Correct, yes. Let's see. Oh, I think there's one I missed here in the other chat. Mateen was asking, he was wondering if there's time as a full-time student to simultaneously hold an internship. So I think you guys did kind of cover that a little bit, but you guys were able to balance, right, doing like research project or an internship along with being a full-time student. Yeah.
So I can add to that from my personal experience because I did hold a year-long internship throughout the first year. And I want to add that it's kind of expected with these company internships that you commit a minimum of like 20 hours, like a week. So make sure that if you plan to, you have to have that flexibility or that amount of time you can dedicate to your courses and to the internship. But it's definitely doable because I did it.
I'm working on a project currently with a professor from last semester. And I mean, thankfully it's been pretty flexible, but I'm putting in about 7 hours a week to working on that. So that's been pretty nice. I don't think I'd want to put in any more than that this semester, but depending on the semester and your workload, it might be viable to do more hours.
Yeah, and if you don't have time, like there's always stuff you can, or if you're not working on a project outside of your classes, like I have one class right now, so I have like some time. And yeah, like Art said before, like applying to full-time jobs, it's a lot. Like every single day last week I had an interview and like I had to like prepare something or like, I had to do a take-home project. So like if you ever have like, a lull, there's like always things you can do. Like like can do leak code to prepare for interviews, or you can, I don't know, like pursue some certification. So you just kind of have to get creative. Like, if you aren't working on a lab outside of class, but you have some time. Yeah.
Awesome. And yeah, I think that was all the questions. So I guess one more thing I'll ask you guys. Is there any kind of last bits of advice you'd provide any of these admitted students, like something maybe you wish you would have known when you started the program?
For me, if you're someone like me that came from like a non-coding, non-CS background, definitely try to do some practice online. Like Mark said, there's Leak Code, do some Coursera, or just watch some YouTube videos. I regret definitely not doing that, jumping directly into this program.
I'd agree with that. I knew very little about computers and didn't have a CS background either. And something I wish I had maybe done before the program is watched just some YouTube videos on the terminal or command line and how to navigate your way around that, like what it means to configure your path variable when you download software like Python, stuff like that.
Yeah, I would agree. I think another thing, this is like something that I'm into, but I'm into like cloud deployments and like looking at, how you can deploy your code to the cloud. So I think like any chance you get to experiment with like AWS or like GCP, just like going through some like tutorials on like Medium or something like that, just to get started and get just an idea of like what you can do. That's a good thing to come into the program with, because once you're done coding your thing, you're trying to push it up or you're trying to like deploy it. So like it's good to know a little bit about that kind of stuff before you can make your product more like available to more people. So that's another thing I would recommend.
A general tip I can say is definitely try your best to time manage because USC has so many opportunities and we have so much to offer. It's so crazy. So like I said, there's part-time jobs or internships. There's so many things to help you out, and even to connect with your peers like clubs and stuff. Definitely time manage and just step outside and like connect with people. And if you need help, USC has all these services to help you. So and just try to join like extracurriculars, whether it be research and or just clubs as well. I think that would be great.
Yeah, just take care of yourself. Like, don't forget at the end of the day, like you're a human and you have like human needs. Like you need to eat, you need to go on walks, you need to like on the weekend maybe turn off your computer and go on a hike or something fun or like go get drinks. So yeah, just like, yeah, exactly. But time management is a part of that. So you have to have like a good checkbox to-do list system and like prioritization system. So make sure you got that like on check.
All right. Thank you so much to Mark, Luke, and Lisa for giving all that insight. As an advisor, I can only say so much because I'm not the student in the class. So I really thank you guys for joining us today and providing that insight. And then, as I mentioned, I'm one of the advisors. Now we've added pretty much the whole CS advisement team who is available to help you guys out with any of your questions. Will be your main point of contact. And with that, I will hand it back over to Cami if she wants to add anything else.
Sure. Thanks, Art, for all of the insight, and also to Luke and Lisa and Mark. Even after all these years working at USC, I never get tired of hearing from our students' perspectives and the advice, because I was just telling one of the panelists on the side how much I learned from all of you as well. So thank you for spending the time with these newly admitted students. So I'm going to go ahead and just wrap up the session today. And as Art says, he is the primary point of contact for the computer science department. So once you have decided to enroll with USC, Art will be your person. So I do hope to see all of you in the fall. Please do feel free to contact us with any additional questions kind of as you make your decision, because you've got about a little bit, about a little over a month to do so. So please feel free to contact us, and someone from the admission staff will be following up with you and just providing you more information during the coming weeks. Okay, so I hope you have a great day or a great evening wherever you are. And I wish everyone good health. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I also want to add, if that's okay, I'm a ambassador, so feel free to connect with me on Unibuddy if you have any more general questions or if you just want to speak to a peer, because due to the Unibuddy system is more we can chat via IM, so it's a lot more of a quick response as well if you have more general or you just want to connect with me. So definitely hope to see you there if you have any questions.
Thanks, Lisa. Okay, everyone, take care.